Check, baby, check, 1, 2. Be with you shortly here. Checkity check, don't talk back. How about I turn the mics on? Good day, everybody. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking here in the digital media world. So glad to be hosting another episode of this great show we call DYOR Live. It's December 4th, 4 days into December. Christmas only about 6 hours away, it seems like. End of the year's coming up quick. It's the holiday season, ladies and gentlemen. I had tried to have a holiday studio for you, but I blew it. Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. As it says on the background here on the feed today, it says Bitcoin update. I'm not going to have Pedro here today because of the strange timing for today's show. Sorry, it's at the wrong time zone, time frame, whatever. Had some stuff going on earlier that I could not wrap my head around as far as the schedule. So I said, I have to do the show later. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Bitcoin, you can see the chart going on behind me here. Hold on, I just need to set a little social media stuff here. Just a little bit of setup to do when I'm by myself. All right. As many of you know, well, first of all, we got a lot of good content for you today. One of the things I want to talk about, I don't know if you've seen it. I've been using my lapel mic, so I haven't had this microphone in the way, but I lost my lapel mic somehow. We got DeFi Sean over here on the screen next to me here with Mooner Dust. Moonerdust.fun. His show, Mooner Dust, game show, supporting the token Mooner Dust, is really good. It's really good. Projects come on it and talk about their stuff, and then they play the game, and they can take money back. DYOR's own Chuck Jansen of Fire Chicken was on the show recently as well. And it's a good thing. You should go over to Moon or Dust. You can go find it on Lunar Pump Fun, lunarpump.fun. It's their launchpad, and on their launchpad, they have their tokens. It's part of the Infineon ecosystem. Watched it today. He had a good project on. Chad had a good project on here today that he's talking about right here. Looks like his name is King Maiko. I don't know who his guest was. We'll worry about that later. But anyway, let's get the proper music playing here. Obviously, you can get information about Bitcoin from many places, far more scholarly than me. If you want a super deep down analysis of it, obviously you'd ask Pedro. And if Pedro's not around, you can ask me for some things. But I'll tell you what I'm learning about Bitcoin. I won't tell you how to read charts or anything like that. But if you really want a top-down analysis, watch Sam Price's daily show, Crypto Lifer, between 10 and 12. Right before our show, we wait for his show to end before we go on. And he gives the best top-down analysis in the industry because he pretty much dedicates his whole life to it, to Bitcoin. And you can get some great information on that. I like to talk about what I'm learning so I can help you guys learn it. And if you've listened to me at, I don't know, the past couple of months talking about how I've used 2025 to get back into the financial trading world, having sitting here listening to Pedro for all this time, I never took action on what he was teaching me. And so I said to myself, Tom, striking old man here, you're getting old. You need to do something with this knowledge that Pedro's been sticking in your ears. I said, well, I should pick up the day trading. So I started doing that. Taking it seriously at the beginning of it, almost a year ago. It was in January of 25, and committed to start learning stuff. I'm getting here to the end of the year knowing so much more. I can look at the charts now and generally tell what's going on. Do I have that keen eye to it like seasoned traders do? Of course not. Of course not. Can I spot trends and keep myself from getting into trouble? Yes, I can do that. And those are big steps. Those two things are what most traders fail at. Just looking at the trend and staying true to it, settings and not getting in trouble. Those two things are actually really hard to do. They're really hard to do, like simply because, hey, look at the chart behind me. That whole green area. Wow, that's today. That's a big trend up, right? Big trend up. But you zoom out and we're trending down. You zoom out further, we're trending up. And so knowing which trend that you're playing in and how to equate your trade into that trend It took me a long time to understand. Master friend was teaching time-based trades. I was like, but he would never mention time. Like, what? This one's a 6-minute trade. It's like, I didn't get it. And what he was referring to is the time period, the candles. Every candle, and Pedro drilled this into my head too, every candle has a certain open, high, low close, open, low, high close, yada, yada, yada. And the longer the time frame you are, the more likely that every candle has all those features drawn into a nice body with a supply wick and a demand wick. And so you can bet your ass the monthly candle is going to have a supply wick, a demand wick, and a body 99% of the time. Once I could recognize those, I was like, okay, so I need to learn the longer time frames. I was really good doing the 1-minute trades. I was fairly successful at it. I was not successful at keeping the emotion out of it. I still had to work on that. Hold on, let me check some social media here. We're live, right? We are live. For some reason, Rumble has removed Facebook from one of their co-streaming partners. Oh, that's still hot. Oh, Jesus. Let me just go to the chart room here. Bye, Sean. Let's get the girls are twirling. Chart is all right. Let's go to the daily chart and look at last month. I know you don't want to look at November, you want to see at December, but we got to see where this is going to go. So in November, I almost called the month, almost called it right. Almost called the whole thing right. The only thing I didn't get right was the pump back up to around that $100,000 level, which after talking to Pedro about it yesterday, we think that's just delayed by a few days. Excuse me. The tea was a little hotter than planned. Anyway, but it's time for December. So let's see how the week opened, the month and week opened. December. What? I was wondering why I didn't have a monthly open there, because this is one of the rare times that the week and the month opened at the same time. This price here, the weekly open here, it's the daily, the weekly, and the monthly open. We opened at $90,000. Been trading above it since Tuesday, trying to climb out of this. For those of you tuning in, let me know. Welcome, Crypto Unicorns, to the house. Thanks for joining us. Anyway, this week so far is following the classic pattern. It opened lower. I tend to start my weeks at midnight on Monday night. Sunday night, midnight, Monday, 12:01 a.m. But if you were to start your week at the traditional time, at 8 p.m. Sunday, which is Singapore time, and it's kind of, crypto trading central time, or opening time, you would have seen that the market dumped off right on the open. Daylight savings time, that would be 7 o'clock, not 8 o'clock Eastern time. And that shadow that just went by, that is the shadow of a train. I usually don't broadcast at this time, so I don't get that. That's weird. Anyway, so you can see over here on Monday the dump off at the opening, which tells us at the end of the week it's likely to go up, and it's slowly been trending up all week. And so just the simple things that I have learned that I would apply to it. The weekly trend is up. We traded lower at the beginning of the week, which means we're going to trade higher at the end of the week. Most of the time. And if you look at the weekly candles, a good percentage of them, at least I'll just guess at 85% or more, have supply wick, demand wick, and a body. So let's head over to the weekly chart and look at that. 1 week. All right, so here is our weekly chart. That is this week here. You can see it's coming down from last couple weeks down. And our chart here, it opened I don't know what lines I have up there. They were left over from the weeks before. Where did we open? 9207. So let's move this down. All right, so this blue line here is the weekly open, daily open, monthly open for Monday. No, and I got that wrong. Let's put it right there. Supposed to be snapping to that spot, but it's not. So this weekly candle has already satisfied all the requirements. It's got a supply wick here. It's got a demand wick down here, and it's got a body. It could close out right at this level and satisfy all the normal things for a weekly candle. I don't have a for some reason I don't have a oh yeah, sorry, I'm just zoomed in. The volume is for the past couple of weeks. The volume has been higher. It's been higher than average. That's a good thing. It's a good thing. And of course it has, because we've seen some pretty good price movements. The 2 weeks before that, there was very high volume, but a lot of sell-offs. Lots of sell-offs. Connect Me One says, let's go, baby. Let's see if my thing is updating. Anyway, welcome everybody. I see that there's a bunch of you watching out there. What I would really appreciate is if you commented. Give us a comment here. This is an interactive show. And as I said before, because I don't have my co-host Pedro Garcia and the shows that I do by myself are generally more of a teaching lesson, teaching you guys what I'm learning as I get back into trading. So if you've just come to us, I saw the numbers just jump up here. If you've just come to us, I am going to go over a little bit of crypto news in a minute. A couple of good stories out there that are good for all of you to know about. But mostly, we want to see what December's going to do, right? You want to know how to make the monies in December. And I'm currently, just to be fair, I'm not actually trading anything right now. A couple of months at the end of August, actually in the middle of August, when I closed down my last short-term trade and realized I wasn't learning the long-term trades well. Nor able to see the long-term trends on the chart well. I said, you know what? This is it's too risky for me just to stay doing what I'm doing. I don't want to lose money. I don't want to make dummy mistakes. So I'm going to teach myself the longer-term view at it with the help. At the time, I was in Master Friends class until I got my Discord hacked. I shouldn't say hacked. I should say my IP address banned. Don't know why, but I'm working on it with Discord to get it out from my account that I use for that. And I said, all right, let's look at the long term. The long term here. So that's what I'm doing. And so here we are at the weekly chart. The weekly chart for Bitcoin leaves some things to be desired. Its trading range is fairly small, even though we've seen some wild maneuvers this week, down all the way down to 84,000. But what I'm talking about right here is where we are with the body of the candle. I mean, we'd like to see this a bullish engulfing candle where the whole body is massive and all this type of stuff. But that's not going to happen with this week. We've got a couple of more days. Saturday, there's not a lot of liquidity in the market. Friday, people close out positions they've held all week as the major exchanges wind down and people take their money home so they don't have to pay fees overnight, over weekend fees and that type of stuff. And so Friday, we see a lot of positions closing out. So thus, if people were buying on Monday, they're usually selling on Friday. If they're selling on Monday, then they're buying on Friday. Kind of how it works. Kind of. Once again, everyone, feel free. I see you out there. Feel free to comment. Ask a question. Tell me I'm nuts. This show is actually usually quite the fun show. Pedro and I get a lot of good information out, but we joke around a lot. Let me refresh the old trade wave over there. So what we've been talking about, what graced us in November and in October was the first week gave us a huge hint of what's to come. And had a good movement so we could predict the month. In November, you can see with the arrows here, these are weekly candles. You know what? It doesn't work on the weekly one. I drew those on the daily chart. Let's go back to the daily chart. In November, we opened up the first week down, this red arrow over here. And so that's why we said we're going to draw the end of the month as being green and moving up. Obviously, that didn't happen. But in order to get there, if there's going to be a big movement up on the last of the month, the week before that generally has to be a liquidity sweep. And then in between the first week that went down and the third week, that's going to be a big liquidity sweep. We need to see some consolidation or a little bit of up movement, and that's exactly what happened. The first week in November was down a lot, that first red arrow. The second week was a green arrow that kind of consolidated, went up, and then at the last minute, it dropped down as part of the entry into the third week, which dropped down a lot, this bigger second red arrow here. And then the prediction was that we were going to see a significant move up in the last week of the month in November, and it just didn't do it. It just didn't do it. We got so close. In fact, when I was on the air at the end of the month on Friday, I was literally waiting for Friday's show the whole month to see what the end of the month close would be. And right at the key moment, right at just before we went on the air, the market, it was going up. We're at like 92. It was like this. I don't know which thing that was. It was going up, and then all of a sudden it just started a giant sell-off and ruined the whole momentum here. This candle here, and dropped us down and ruined the movement up. So I was so close to predicting the whole month. But anyway, regardless, doesn't matter if I got it exactly right or not. What happened was I actually taught myself something, and I learned that. So now we have to say, all right, how does that apply to December? I don't know what the hell I just did there. How does that apply to December? Let's go back to this chart. The first week is generally going to be, so far, unless something crappy happens, the first week is going to be an up arrow. Our trend for the week is like this. I mean, if it does what Pedro said by Sunday night, in the open of the next week, could very well be at 100,000 if we continue this same trend. which would be good. Why? Well, because I do have a demo trade on. I have a demo trade on it in at 92,000, right about here. Where the heck is everyone? Anyway, I see a couple of you watching on YouTube. Maybe is my comment machine not working? All right, I'm able to post. That was YouTube. All right, everyone, if you're watching out there, drop a comment so I know this thing works. Well, Rumble works. Connect Me One says it works. So today the trend starts. This week the trend is starting up. So that's good. Monday we start. Oh, hold on. Another carjacker. So the weekly chart, the trend is up. So let's go back to the chart showing what's likely to come. What is the... is it Alt V? Alt V, vertical line. Let's put this on the first. First, second, third, fourth. The first week of December is going to be something like this, probably, at this point. And I realize this is a holiday month. A holiday month, so all the rules kind of get thrown out at the end of the month because the liquidity is drained out of the market because everyone goes on vacation. Because as you know, most of the holidays that we watch are fairly country specific. You know, like Thanksgiving in the U.S., Thanksgiving in Canada and the UK, yada yada yada. Just Independence Days, a lot of things that we have off in the US that are not the same day in Canada. Lots of them are the same. And then of course, religious-based holidays like the Christmas season is rather ubiquitous around the world with people being off. So the idea here is that if the first week goes up, the last week's going to go down in a similar fashion, so probably a smaller arrow. And obviously, these rules have been tested in the Trump era. Just tested in the Trump era. And so, obviously, this is just total guesswork right now, right? Because I just don't know what's going on. But if I were to give a rough draft of what the month is going to do. Cubescent. I still can't say your name right. This is my Rumble comment. This is my YouTube comment. Thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate it. I don't have Pedro with me. I don't know how long you've been on the air with us. Just by myself today, so I'm doing the typical show when I talk about what I've learned lately in Bitcoin, in my goals at teaching myself and learning to get myself to be able to forecast, where pricing is going to go better in a more scholarly fashion. Now, I'm drawing these arrows, and this is for sure not to scale. Not anything that doesn't not call into any pricing. However, Pedro, you know what? I will do that a little bit. Yesterday, Pedro said that he sees $100,000 coming in the books here pretty soon, based on the things he was looking at. And I agree with him. I'll tell you why in just a minute. And then after that, if there's going to be a nice pump, we did talk about wanting to revisit these low 80s and high 70s again. I know nobody wants to hear that. You just want to hear, let's finish the year in moon. But that doesn't seem to be in the cards. Both Pedro and I kind of looked at it and went, yeah, it's likely going to do that. And that's because we show liquidity down there. If you look at Bookmap, it shows a lot of orders down in that area. When Pedro does his chart magic, it also does the same thing. And there's not a corresponding, amount of liquidity at a higher level. If all the liquidity on Bookmap shows it lower and there's just a little bit higher, the odds are it's going lower. However, if they're, $5,000 below market, there's strong liquidity, and $5,000 above market, there's a similar liquidity. And then that's kind of all bets are off. And you're like, oh, well, it could go either way. And you have to look at other indicators to figure it out. So this is the general concept of how I think December is going to shape up. There's been plenty of Decembers, and there's plenty of other technical indicators to say that after certain things happen, the next two months are, booms. After, certain death crosses and all this type of stuff up, and people throw the charts. There's also certain things to say this many months after the halving, certain things are supposed to happen. But I profess that we're in a different market now, though, that Fink and crew are in the house. Yeah, I gotta tell you, Cube, I struggled when I started getting back into this in January. I struggled for a couple of months in really being able to see the charts and see what, someone that's good at this, like Pedro and Crypto Lifer and stuff, they look at the chart, it's like the Matrix. And they can just read it. Or if you're in Vegas or something like that, or you're at a casino and people are at the craps table and everyone's looking down and they're yay and cheering and all that, and I'm looking at it like what the hell does all that mean? Same thing with craps. Put your time in, learn. All of a sudden, you can look at the table and know exactly what's going on. And I am not there yet with Bitcoin or charting. Not at all. However, I'm there in certain areas, and I'm learning other areas. And once, Pedro drilled it into my head, trade, whatever you trade, write it down and all that. So I did lots of that. And I figured out, I went back and looked at my history and said, this is what I'm good at, this is what I'm not. And what opened my eyes, and you've probably heard me say this, what opened my eyes about not being able to read the charts long term, or having any faith that, yes, it is going to go back up to this level and then probably come down to here a good proportion of the times, was my own data in my journal. My own data. My data just came right out. Why did the girl stop there? Let's get them going again. My own data told me that I had a 72% winning ratio in trading. Like 72% of my trades I won. And I trade all the... It's not like I do a zillion $1 trades and then 2 or 3 $5,000 ones. And so those 2 or 3 5,000 losses wipe out everything. No, all my trades, since I was learning, nothing was a large trade. But the data showed me I was winning a high percentage. And I was like, yes, I'm on the right track. And I'm like, but why don't I have a lot of money? Like, my account is roughly the same. I'll make a few $100s here, a couple thousand, not a couple thousand, a little bit more than 1,000 in a good trading, time frame. I mean, I was like, if I'm winning 70% of my trades, I should have made like $20,000 or $30,000 in this time frame. I'm like, why not? But the answer was in the data. The answer is in the data. The answer was that because I didn't trust that when my trade was profitable, say you set up a trade, we'll just do a simple one-to-one trade. I risked $100, and all I wanted to do was make $100. That trade would be at $25 in the green, and I'd be like this. I'm selling. Profitable trade. All right. Whew. Wrote another profitable trade down. Of all the trades I made, only one of them, a single one, went to the target price and closed out. Or at least got close enough that where you front run it and sell it just a little bit early to make sure you get all your profit. And, a few hundred other trades all closed out. Were either stopped out, closed out, or I strangled them. Strangled them is when you move your stop right close to price action too quickly. If you move your stop up to price action when it's in profits, there's a very high chance that it's going to stop you out and not keep and then keep going up. So most of my trades were winning, but making the little monies on it. And it was because I couldn't see it. I couldn't see that it was going to continue going up. I couldn't see the pattern. It just wasn't there for me. So I was so afraid of my meme coin and degen life was coming back to me where you're like, I got to sell now. And you sell it just to take any money before someone rugs it. And in Bitcoin's sake, before some market maker in Germany comes in and goes, book, and dumps the market. So I said, I've got to learn the long term. Got to learn the long term. And I started doing that. And so every month now I do this prediction. I didn't do it in September. I was out for had a lot of personal reasons stuff that month going on, which took up a lot of my time. And so I really wasn't doing much in September, except making a few shows with Pedro here and there. But in August, October, and November, of all those weeks, there was 13 weeks in those 3 months. I got 10 of them pretty good. About 10 of those weeks predicted pretty accurately. I don't know why I didn't keep my October arrows here. I copied them. I stole them and just moved them into November. I should have been leaving them there so I could go back and leave my historical data so I could see it. I can go back in a few past shows and watch my October shows to see how it did. Which, you know what? I'm going to do that. Watch October shows. All I really need to watch is the last one of the month. Then I can put the arrows back on to kind of see how we did. So doing this, I say, all right, Tom, you did that. So big deal. Big deal. You kind of, so probably something in an entry-level trading class. That's what they teach you or something like that. Right. Well, some of my mind is still in entry level, even though I have a long history in the financial markets. But what like I said, I'm having trouble working out that degen lifestyle that I mistakenly participated in for a few years. 4 years ago, I had said, all right, I'm going to take this seriously. I'd have a street full of Lambos outside because I would have spent my time learning, and I would have spent my time making mistakes, and I would have spent my time positioning myself for this, this good run up in pricing would have been very good. But instead, now I have to put myself behind by 4 years by focusing on meme coins instead of focusing on making money. The old-fashioned way, earning it. And so getting that mentality out of my head was very important. And the way I'm doing that is by trying to forecast the month out, and generally the way the weeks are going to go. So I'm not worried when I make that trade. So I can just sit there and let it go, let the trade go to fruition. Now, here's a good example. Here's a great example of that. And this is on the, let me get a clean chart here. That's the 5-minute chart. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. Here's the 4-hour chart, and I'm specifically referencing this big drop down in liquidity here that happened much of November. You know what? Let's actually go to the daily chart. This shows it better. I'm more investor than a trader, but I've been trying to play trader more lately, usually short time frames because I can't keep an eye on things at work. And I know I got you on that. And I'm going about it the other way. I want to do long-term trades because I can't keep an eye on it at work. I want to do that weekly trade. I'm going to do the 3-day trade and not have to look at it like I'm going to freak out. But anyway, here, this is a great example of what I'm talking about. We have the big liquidity sweep here. This thing all the way down. Boop. Liquidity sweep down. And then we had the corresponding bump back up. And then December 1st, we had this big dump off and a recovery back up and seems to be on its way up. If you do your Fibonacci's, if you know your Fibonacci stuff, pick the lowest candle, draw it to the top of the highest candle before it started reversing. You'll see it did exactly what, essentially exactly. I don't have that right. I gotta get that up there. What the Fibonacci rules say, and that is after the liquidity dump, you'll have people taking a profit type thing here, and then the market will still have some orders left in it, and it'll retrace to this 786 level here, right above my head here, right above my head. It says 0.786. It's the deviation from the Fibonacci standard, or however you want to say it. And then once it reaches that 786, it starts back up and heads up to where where you think it's going to go. And Pedro and I have kind of both identified that as a $100,000 area. So one of my trade setups was to play this liquidity sweep. And there's a lot of people that look for the market bottom and really try and nail that bottom. And, we're trying to get this bottom wick down there. Clearly, and obviously some did, because there's lots of buy orders there, and they went right back up. And it takes a lot more skill than I have to pick those bottoms like that. Every time I've tried, it's been a fake out and then just tanked down more and then quickly get stopped out of my trade. But this one, what I do is I wait for a confirmation. And the confirmation is the fact that this goes up and then comes back down to the 786 Fibonacci. Sometimes, every once in a while, it goes boop, keeps going down. Yeah, do we see that? Yes, of course. Get stopped out, you lose. But when this pattern presents itself, especially on the 15-minute chart in the mornings of the weekday, it has a very high probability of doing this. Boop. Just like that. And I drew this out, and I was like, you know what? That's got about $100,000 in it. Before we think it's going to turn around and go back down. And then yesterday, Pedro came on, and he's telling me $100,000 because it makes sense from these the daily chart doesn't show it so well, but the I think the 8-hour, 4-hour chart shows two good levels here at 95,000, and then another one at 100,000 that we're likely to hit. Pedro thinks we'll trade through the 95,000. If we do, we'll hit 100,000. So I said, okay. So in the demo trade, I said, I'm going to wait for this thing to do this. And it did. It started coming back up. And when it went down to the 786 and closed, not just piercing it, but just to close there, I said, all right, I'm going to get back in it. But I was busy with the show, doing some other things. And I didn't get back in until 92,000. I tried to buy it down here. I wanted to buy it down here at 86. Didn't. And just got in at 92,000 and said, you know what, it's probably going to go to 95, maybe a little bit more to 100. So at 95,000, I'm going to sell 50% or 60% of it, and then let the rest ride up to 100, or I'll move my stop up then, so I can lock in some profits. But before the old Tom would be where I am now. I'm up. It's not on this screen, but let me find my trade. I'm up exactly $26. Okay, now 26.03 or something like that. And I'd look at that number, and it's dangerous watching that number. You just watch it, and it's like, I'm up $10. And you're thinking, oh my God, if I was using a lot of money, that would be 100, then it would be 300, and it's dangerous. And I would look at it and be profitable, and I'd say, and I'd just close it out, take the trade, and I would instead of waiting for it to get up here to 100, I would sell it right here at price action, especially since now it shows that it's coming back down a little bit. Like earlier in the day, this is what I would be doing. I'll tell you, this is, exactly what I'd be doing. Let's look at the hour chart. Let's look at the 15-minute chart. All right, well, when I started this conversation, this last green candle wasn't here. What I would be doing right now with my $25, I would have these past three earlier in the day, I would have 2 hours ago, hour and a half ago, I would have been up $100 and I've been like, yes, woo, I'm awesome. And then for 4 15-minute periods in a row for the next hour, it goes down. And we've got the 200 period moving average right there. I would have sold it. I would have been like, nope, taking my $25 and running. And then, of course, I would have sold it. And then as per standard, it would have gone right back up here. Boop, right back up. Which it's doing in this 15 minutes. But I would have sold out and missed out on it. And I would have been happy. I would have been like, yeah, made $25. Well, the amount of time I spent setting up the trade, waiting for it to happen, watching it come through, I would have been much better working at McDonald's. Here in Chicago, McDonald's, they get paid $20 an hour. Just working at McDonald's, I would have made $40 in that same time period. Doesn't it suck thinking of that? I'm not talking about, I didn't imply that working at McDonald's sucks. Is that all this effort you're putting into it only pays as much as a fast food restaurant. So that's the wrong mentality. So that's why I'm trying to learn the long-term time frames. And it helps your emotions out greatly. Just because you're like, whatever. If you've got enough money and you can hold it, just hold, right? Just buy the spot market and hold it. If you're playing the futures markets and you want to start with a little bit of money and make a lot of money, you have to use a little bit of leverage, not a lot. And be able to time the market well. Not perfectly. Better than average, yes. More than 50% of the time? Yes. So that's why I was doing that. Well, let's take a quick break here to talk about a couple of the news stories that I said. Well, first of all, let's. It's the top of the hour. It's 5 p.m. I had forgotten that one of the things that I was going to cover was the market close at 4:30, and the market. What did the market do on the close at 4:30? 4:30. Not much. Didn't do much today on the close. Let's switch out the music. All right, some of the things that I always like to do at the top of the hour is just re-rack the show. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. I'm so glad to be hosting this show, DYOR Live. My co-host and good friend, Mr. Pedro Garcia, is out today. Sorry for the late time frame today. Had a little bit of stuff going on. Thanks to everybody that's watching. Really appreciate it. As always, this is an educational show, not financial advice or anything like that. If you take financial advice from me, you will go broke. Trust me. Once again, thanks to the Infineon crew for putting on the show Moon or Dust, which I have over my shoulder right here. Head over to lunarpump.fun. Check out all the tokens and their new game show. No, they're not sponsoring me for it. They're very nice to let me post the show schedule in their Telegram. So I give them a little shout out here. In fact, I'm going to take a screenshot. All right. But anyway, and our show is an interactive show. Wish all of you out there, a couple of people watching on YouTube, 13 or so people watching us on Rumble. Oh, which reminds me, it's that time. It's that time, ladies and gentlemen. It's that time. Ladies and gentlemen, have you still not tried 1775 coffee? Well, now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped. Only 1,000 units were made in this batch, and they're selling out. You know how I know that? Because some of our viewers have bought it. That's right. I was quite surprised, but they have. And they got back to me and said, hey, this stuff's actually good. My dad really liked it. I liked it. It was good. Anyway, when you order this kit from 1775 Coffee, you get three things. You're getting the bold dark roast. That's first. Hits hard. You're getting the smooth medium roast. And then you're getting the Vitality mushroom coffee for clean energy and laser focus. No crash. Nope. It's all single origin, small batch, toxin free, and mold free. Plus, you're also getting my favorite part. You're getting a gold spoon clip because freedom isn't souped. It's souped. I blew my own line. You're getting a gold spoon clip because freedom isn't served with plastic. No, it's not, ladies and gentlemen. You're getting a frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinions. And a black 1775 tumbler. That's right. Getting $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for $99. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble. Wondering, is it actually worth it, Striking? Well, according to our viewers, it is worth it. That's right. Don't take my advice. Take our viewers' advice. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something just like DYOR does and Rumble does right here on the Rumble channel. Right over there at the corner of the screen, ladies and gentlemen, there is a QR code. Snap your phone, hold your phone up to that on the big screen, screenshot it, whatever. Head over to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. As always, if you're watching on your phone, there's a link in the chat. If you're watching on the replay, thank you very much. There's a link in the description. Thank you to 1775 Coffee for sponsoring this segment of DYOR Live. All right, everyone. Thanks for hanging out in the commercials there. Remember, we are a interactive show here. Pedro's not with me today, so I am just talking about... I'm doing what I usually do in the Space Lounge in the evenings or on the Rumble Premium shows, is that's talk about my learning journey. I find that things that I learn are also things that other people haven't learned yet that want to. And so the first kind of hour of this show, I went over. How long have we been on? Yeah, about an hour. How I've been teaching myself the longer time frames, looking at the week and looking at the month, and and how it's helped me out. But a couple of good stories here to hit a little bit of news. One of them caught me by surprise. By the time I got to researching it a little bit more, it's regarding Solana. Phantom had already issued a patch to their wallet, and so did I can't think of the other wallet that I'm thinking about. SafePal. What I didn't know is that if you have the private keys for a crypto address on the Ethereum blockchain or anything like that's made from an EVM machine, BNB, Polygon, all of those things that start, all your addresses that start 0x, yada, yada, yada. Those are all EVM machines. You are the owner of that wallet. Can't be reassigned. The only way you can give up that wallet is to literally give your keys to someone else. On Solana, that is not the case at all. And I didn't know this until this came out from Slow Mist here. I thought I had this on my screen so you could see it. Nope. Fail, Tom. It says here, beware of phishing attacks. Wallet owner permissions can be altered. I was like, what? What you talking about, Willis? You can't change who owns a wallet. In Solana, you can. The field in the wallet, which we'll just essentially refer to it, is a smart contract in itself. The owner field is reassignable. You can reassign the wallet, and it was intentional. It's not a bug. It's a feature. You can intentionally reassign a wallet to someone else to be the owner of it. I mean, to me, I think it's just easier to send everything in the wallet to someone new. But you can say, no, you can do a smart contract transaction. Boop, boop, boop. Send it over. However, recently, guy was a victim of a phishing attack that resulted in unauthorized transfer of his account owner's permission. This is similar to the malicious multisig style attack seen on Tron. The victim lost $3 million, and another $2 million was locked in DeFi protocols and staking, which he got the $2 million back. And what he did is typical. He got phished. He got sent to a incorrect site, mimicking another site, to connect his wallet. And what they were able to do in the code is bury the assign feature, or essentially assigning your wallet to a new owner feature way down in the code, and they tricked the UI into not showing that. And he lost everything. Solana, Phantom Wallet, has issued an update. So if you haven't updated your Google Play or your Apple Store stuff in a while, please do so. And one of the things they said to prevent this anyway is the part where you're able to simulate. Now, you can simulate on these things the transaction before you do. Best practices: use a low-value wallet for interactions and airdrop hunting. If you're gonna need to go around and collect airdrops and stuff like that, and use a wallet that you don't mind's getting hacked. Keep high-value assets isolated. Avoid granting unlimited approvals. Limit allowances whenever possible. You can, every time you go to do a transaction, if you're only spending $9,000 of something plus gas, you can go and say, I'm only authorizing that smart contract to take $10,000 out, maximum ever. Otherwise, you have to come back to me to get it assigned again. Obviously, verify URLs and signatures. Never approve operations that seem unrelated. Don't click blindly. Don't sign blindly. Where's the other part where it talks about transaction simulations? Oh, sorry, I must have gone and read the article about it. Anyway, I thought this is to be really good information. You know, I don't talk a lot about, most of the news I bring up is political related or things that are going to be approved in Washington, D.C. But I thought this one would be more important. But one of the things I always love reporting about is crime and criminals getting taken down. The final actions in a sweeping international operation from Europol have successfully dismantled large-scale cryptocurrency fraud and money laundering network that laundered over 700 million euros. Coordinated blah, 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 blah. It began as an investigation into a single fraudulent cryptocurrency platform, gradually unfolded into a complex, far-reaching operation, revealing a vast network of deceit and money laundering. What they did is, they were for a while, and I did a Rugged, Ruined, and Wrecked episode on this, is about these, essentially what they are is Ponzi schemes. And they start these fake protocols. They even, a lot of them hire actors to play the executive part here. They operated numerous fake cryptocurrency investment platforms, luring thousands of victims with sophisticated advertisements promising high returns. The victims were then repeatedly contacted by criminal call centers, or callers used social engineering to pressure victims into making further payments by showing inflated returns on fake trading platforms. What these groups did is they did it in not only just in crypto, but in just the old school, fake investment firms. And then they would just social engineer the money out of you by promising high returns, that kind of stuff. Well, this doesn't make sense. Sees millions of euros, including... That doesn't add up to millions of euros. Anyway, I always love it when they take down those Ponzi scheme guys. We'll give you 5% per day, but if you put more in, you can earn 10% per day. You're like, wait a minute. How's that work? 10%. Imagine making 10% per day. 10% per day. You would make... by the end of the month, you'd be a multimillionaire. It's just... This one I thought was interesting. When you talk about earlier, when I was talking about not to treat a lot of people, a lot of influencers, a lot of Twitter people, all that type of stuff have been saying, in 23 and 24, October, November, December, boom, like that. It's October, December, boom, we're going to boom again, boom, boom, boom. And then the market went down and they're like this, whoa, why was I wrong? You're wrong because the market is totally different now. Totally different now than Larry Fink and crew, Jamie Dimon and crew. And because Donald Trump's in office and he totally changed how the U.S. government treats crypto, made it legal. We did a whole show yesterday about how the U.S. is going to be, while other countries are stamping, you evil crypto people, the U.S. is like, come on, let's do it here. Let's innovate. In one of those innovations, are these treasury companies. And you've heard a lot about them. I mean, obviously we don't need to talk about Saylor and what he's doing, but every other company suddenly is like, we want to be a treasury company. We're going to do it. Michael Saylor's been plotting this for ages. And he knows what he's trying to do, and he has a plan to do it. Other companies have just announced, we're going to just be a Bitcoin treasury company now. Like Galaxy Digital came in and bought, $95 million worth of Bitcoin. Says, we're going to be a, price of Bitcoin declined. They sold it all. Like, we were a little haste on that. As soon as the market changed, they were out. So that means you knew they bought it on leverage. And then there's a lot of companies. There's a car company that was set up. I don't know what country it's based in, somewhere in Asia. And they just gave up. They're like, well, forget this car business. We're just going to take the investment and say, you gave us to build cars, people, and we're going to buy Bitcoin with it instead. Like I tell you, I worked in the car industry for 27 years. It's hard to make money in the automotive business. It's cutthroat. It's ruthless. Not saying Bitcoin isn't cutthroat and ruthless, but so the treasury company thing is big. People are saying, we're going to be a Solana treasury. We're going to be a Ripple or XRP treasury. We're going to be all this kind of stuff. And most of those people, when you ask them, it's like, what do you mean by a treasury? All they answer is, we're going to lend people money on blockchain. And then you go, all right, so you're not doing anything new. But now something's different. This company, 21 Capital, set to begin trading on the New York Stock Exchange next week. And it's launching with $4 billion worth of Bitcoin. Like, where'd you get $4 billion worth of Bitcoin all of a sudden? From their parent, Cantor Fitzgerald. That's right. Set to begin trading December 9th. The company is a collaborative venture between Tether, Bitfinex, Cantor Fitzgerald, and SoftBank. Oh, I didn't know that SoftBank was in on it too. 21 is set to begin trading with about $4 billion worth of Bitcoin in its treasury. Oh, I just realized something. That was good. Okay. Zhusheim? I don't know how to pronounce that correctly. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. Watching on YouTube. Thanks for bringing it up. Our primary broadcast channel is on Rumble. You can join us over there if you want. But thanks for joining us. We're an interactive show here. Ask questions if you want. Right now, I'm just going on a little bit of news for another 10 or so minutes. What I thought was interesting. Then I'll head back to the Bitcoin chart and see where we're going. I tried to have a countdown to like when we'll be back on the Bitcoin chart. And it crashed when I was setting it up. So anyway, this leads into an interesting story. Tether has been criticized about the possibility that it could lose its peg and ruin our industry. Or if it lost its peg, it would wreak havoc on our industry. And Cantor Fitzgerald's invested heavily in Bitcoin and gold. A lot of U.S. treasuries, some cash on hand, that type of stuff. And they're investing in, they have a whole real estate development division now too, and all kinds of stuff. But that's all small amounts. They like up to 5% of their fund, they said was backed by Bitcoin. Bitcoin's down 40% since they said that. So they still have 5%, or is it 2.5% now? Don't know. But so they said, all right, we're going to get rid of our Bitcoin. This was genius. I just figured it out. Tether said, we're going to get rid of our Bitcoin. And when they said that, the market went like, really? Tether would just sell, dump a couple of $1 billion. Let's see, 5% of 200 billion would, well, it's a lot. It's $10 billion worth of Bitcoin. No, 200 billion. They had 5%, 10 billion. Yeah, it would have been $10 billion, right? And the market said, oh my gosh, Tether's going to sell its Bitcoin. Let's get out of this. And they're like, no, that's not what we're doing. Anyway, so now it comes out that Tether, along with Cantor Fitzgerald, if you don't know who Cantor Fitzgerald is, try to say something. All right. Thanks for joining us. If you know something, if you know that you need to sell Bitcoin and the market knows you need to sell it, you don't want to sell it because as soon as you do, the market will start tanking and the rest of your Bitcoin won't be worth much. You need someone to buy it off over the counter. Now, one of the companies that was involved in when people said, Tether doesn't have this stuff, we have no proof of that. Tether went to Cantor Fitzgerald, one of the largest Wall Street firms, and said, hey, can you guys be the custodian for our U.S. treasuries and verify that, we have these things? And Cantor Fitzgerald, the CEO and chairman, was Howard Lutnick, who is now the president's Secretary of Commerce. He said, sure, we'll do that. It's a good portfolio to have. And so Lutnick said, we'll do that. And he came right out and said, Tether, we've got, at the time, Tether had $80 billion market cap. And he came out and said, well, they've got $67 billion worth of treasuries, U.S. treasuries. And then another group came out and said, they hold this much Bitcoin and gold and some other stuff. And so people are like, all right, well, they've generally got the stuff they need. But in the U.S., they're like, nah, it's not good enough. It's too volatile. We really got to make sure that you guys are pegged and can keep your peg, because this whole industry is relying on Tether. Obviously, USDC and Circle is coming up there quickly. But Tether underpins, 3/4 of the stablecoin market and the means of moving money around within Bitcoin or within the blockchain. And so now you see Tether and Cantor Fitzgerald both involved in a company going public, and they're starting out with $4 billion worth of Bitcoin. Where do you think they got $4 billion from? I bet you that's the $4 billion of Bitcoin from Tether. And then they're going to get cash back out of this company going public. See, that was actually quite good. Paulo, yeah, good job. Good job with that. Good job with that. That guy, Paulo Ardunio, is that his name? That runs Tether? Smart guy. I'm surprised it took me that long to figure it out. But anyway, so now they're going to be a treasury company. And as Michael Saylor said, we're going to see things starting to settle to Bitcoin as the settlement layer. That doesn't mean you're going to be making payments in Bitcoin, because as we know, there's the Lightning Network for that. There's all sorts of other things. He said, but really, corporations are not going to just switch to doing all their books in crypto. They're still going to do the same things. They're going to borrow. They're going to issue equity. They're going to issue debt, that type of stuff. And all of those transactions need to settle to something. Instead of settling to the US dollar, they'll settle to Bitcoin. And so Michael Saylor is already starting to sell these products and issue bonds based in Bitcoin. And he's going to be able to start companies that their share capital is based on Bitcoin. And then they can issue equity in Bitcoin. And those equities, shares, then can be traded on an exchange. And then they settle in Bitcoin and not in the US dollar. And so that's what this is. Now this is a big move. This company's going to be $4 billion worth of this stuff. It's why the market's different now, everybody. When you say, look at the Bitcoin chart and just do pure technical analysis, a lot of the things are the same. A lot of them are different now because the players are different. The amount of money, the liquidity in the market is much bigger now, and the products coming out are much bigger. Let's see, let me check something here. As I said, remember, this is an interactive show, ladies and gentlemen. Interact. And it's that time. It's at the bottom of the hour, so that means I'm going to read another Rumble ad. Stick with me on these, ladies and gentlemen. I try to do these fun, and I'm picking someone new today. I'm picking... we have a new sponsor on our show here, and so let me bring that up here. Oh, I gotta wait a minute. Damn it! All right, I won't go to it yet. I was like, why isn't the accept button here to run the QR code on the screen? And I'm like, it's a good ad too, but I until I am allowed to hit that button, can't say anything. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this show you're watching here is the DYOR Live show on the DYOR Media Network. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking. It is 5:30 Eastern Standard Time here in the Eastern Standard Time. Anyway, this show you're watching, it is normally myself, Striking, otherwise known as Tom. And usually I have my co-host over here, Mr. Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst. He is not here with us today. I have this feeling he's lurking in the background somewhere. But he's not with us today. That doesn't mean he's not with us anymore and we have to go to a wake. It just means that I started the show late today because I had other things to do, and he wasn't available, obviously. Bitcoin trading up a little bit here. We've been volatile today in a small range, which is fine. You can see the up above my head, the low of the day 91.6, high 94.5. Fairly calm for the past couple of weeks. Which is fine. All right, I can accept this ad now. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. What do you give someone that has everything? You give them the sizzle. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The Chicago Steak Company. Head to mychicagosteak.com, code SANTA229, SANTA229. We're talking the top 2% of beef in America. USDA Prime and Premium Angus, hand-cut by master butchers. The kind of marbling that hits a screaming hot pan and fills the whole house with that smell. You know the smell. You know that one. Right now, spend $229 on any holiday order, and they'll send you 6 free petite ribeyes plus free shipping. That's $240 in premium steak. This next sentence is not written right, guys. It says that's $240 in premium steak for free. You have to say they'll ship it for free. Anyway, and the presentation, these arrive in a gift box packed with dry ice. Opening it feels like Christmas morning. This isn't another sweater. This is a dinner that becomes a memory. That's right, mychicagosteak.com, promo code SANTA229. That's SANTA 229. Ladies and gentlemen, over here on the right-hand side of the screen, your left-hand side of the screen, is a QR code here. It says free shipping and 6 ribeyes from Chicago Steak Company, where I am right now in Chicago. I might add, you Chicago steak people. Maybe a nice delivery here would be worth it for some product placement. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, put your eyeballs on their advertising. We'd really appreciate it. Just hold your phone up and click that if you're watching on a big screen TV. If you're watching on your cell phone, there's a link in the chat to go over there and check out the Chicago Steak Company. It helps Pedro and I out a lot if you just go check them out. And then, if you're watching on the replay, thanks. We appreciate it very much. And there's a link in the description right there. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks to Chicago Steak Company for sponsoring this segment of DYOR Live. All right, I only got a little bit of time left in the show. Let's hit the news stories that. Let me hit just one more that I was warehousing here, and then we'll head over back to the Bitcoiner and see how this trading day is going to finish out. You hear me talk a lot about wrench attacks. I did a whole show on wrench attacks. I have some shorts out about wrench attacks. It's literally just armed robbery, but instead of taking the cash from your wallet, they make you pay them crypto. And it's popular in Europe. It's really popular in Europe. It's popular amongst a number of immigrant minority groups that have organized themselves well into following people that they know to own a lot of crypto. And as they say, calling it a wrench attack is hitting them over the head with a wrench and getting all their money. Okay, they don't actually do that. That's just what they're called because of the famous cartoon talking about, people bragging that, I have the super extra security. I have the Trezor Ledger 4,096 bit keys, blah, blah, blah. They can never break it, yada, yada, yada. And the guy says, holds up a wrench to smash him in the head. And the guy goes, okay, here's my money. But it's popular in Europe. The French are particularly good at arresting these people because it's in France. It's generally the Algerian criminal element. Then other countries, it's kind of the Eastern European groups from Bulgaria and Hungary and that type of stuff who are educated, follow the crypto world, participated. Where if this other article I was talking about, the Europol busting $700 million extortion schemes or money laundering schemes, that's where a lot of those are. because a lot of they're there because their people fell for those scams very easily. That's why they're there. So those criminal organizations grew a lot. And it's no different in Ukraine. And the Ukrainian police just arrested a bunch of people in wrenched. Imagine you going through that war with Russia and you're trying to eke by and you're making some money in crypto, and then people single you out because of that. That's why I don't have any crypto, because I have 2 kids in university. They don't have any. You can beat me up all you want. It's like, I got 6 cents here. Got a kid in the University of Colorado. Anyway, that was a good story. This was an article I had been wanting to talk about with Pedro. Here in the U.S., we've changed up the rules, and the rules now say that if you have if you are a regular exchange in the U.S., any exchange that's registered with the Commodities Futures Trading Commission, the CFTC, which governs exchanges, trading exchanges for commodities stuff, not the U.S. Stock Exchange. You can trade Bitcoin spot or anything spot, any crypto spot. You know what? I don't know if it's any, but it's Trump's push toward funding crypto prices produced a CFTC-led effort to encourage leverage spot trading. But that would just be futures or perpetuals. Starting with Bitnomial. I don't understand that. But anyway, it's not the point, but saying that leverage spot trading is now going live on Bitnomial. One of the goals of President Trump's crypto push. Bitnomial is poised to be the first to begin trading. That trading starts set next week. So that's a good thing. So there's going to be more. It's not just linked to futures only, like the Chicago Mercantile Exchange has been doing for years. There's going to be more exchanges and more stuff doing it on the spot market. I mean, why they wouldn't let you trade the spot market in the first place, but you could trade a futures thing, and they're like, well, it's different. It's not the same thing. It's, if you buy one with no leverage in the futures, it's the same thing as buying one on the stock market or on the spot market, right? All right, enough of that for now. I only got a few minutes left here, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, this is a crypto talk show here, and I do the talking. You guys do the asking. Zuheim, is it still possible to buy the AIX 2049 tokens in the pre-sale? I don't know, but that was a good shill. That was an excellent shill. As I always tell me, you guys are good. That's good. And try to say whatever your name is. Try to say something. Try to say some bath. Whatever. Please tell me how to buy the AIX 2049 tokens during the pre-sale. That's good. That's good, guys. Thanks for subscribing. I really appreciate it. And the engagement. But the point is here on DYOR is what I do is teach people. And Pedro, we teach people to do this stuff. And we tell them to do their own research. Nobody will blindly FOMO from our community. If you do, you're a schmuck. But anyway, thanks for signing up, following. Appreciate it. I always tell people that shill here, it's fine. It's a good shill. Because there's not a lot of people shilling. But I always tell the viewers, do your own research. So I'm gonna run. That banner. Nope, not that one. This is an educational video and not financial advice. Nothing herein has been approved by any authority. Opinions and information here do not represent those of DYOR Media. And that's what they are, their opinions. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's finish the day out here with just a little bit more Bitcoin talk. How is this? This was a good. Earlier, I talked about the liquidity sweep and the Fibonacci retracement. on the daily chart. And it turns out it did it here today. It did it here today. Watch this when we run the fibs here. It was not nearly as strong today, so I am mistaken. Oh, but you know what? The one earlier, right in that one, I would have got stopped out. Look at that. What I'm doing is showing you where I thought I had seen it happen again, the 786 retracement after a liquidity sweep in the time period. Anyway, so what's coming up for Bitcoin here the rest of this day and in this weekend? Let's go to the chart that I drew earlier. We're looking for it to keep going up to 100,000, ladies and gentlemen. The 100,000 is an area of liquidity that shows up on Bookmap, and it shows up in the charts here. Here we have, I'm going to draw, I know I have a bunch of arrows, but just stick with me here. Pedro gave us this level yesterday of 95,000 because of these candles over here. And it looks like after the liquidity sweep of the past few days, and then doing the fib retracement here down to closing at 86,000 4 days ago, that it's on its way up to at least 95,000, right about this blue line here. And if it bounces off that, then it's on its way back down to 70-some thousand, 80,000. But if it breaks through it, we're looking at 100,000. And Pedro said it's a good chance of it going to 80,000. So my demo trade that I have set up right now is at 95,000, sells 60 to 70% of the holdings. And then at 100,000, we'll dump it all. And so that is let's see, today is the 4th. And so we're looking for that to happen essentially by the 6th, by Sunday night. Move that over there. I'm sorry, by the 7th. Yes, a couple extra viewers. Better chance of reading ads. Let them soft shill. Don't mind. Don't mind at all. Now that I've been saying this is going to go up, let's put this in the back. Actual order, send to back. Why did that not go to the back? And to back. Oh, there we go. Now that I said it's going to go up, it's for sure going to go down. That's how it works, right? No, but this, like I said, this is following the same. After the liquidities, that was not what I wanted to do. Liquidity sweep, rebound, and then retest of the bottom of the liquidity sweep or close to it. Mostly, if it gets down to the 0.786 deviation Fibonacci and it bounces off that, and then you're good for a good rise there. And so that's what we're watching. It's a simple pattern that happens. It happens every day in one time frame or another. And the best time for it to happen is in the New York morning. The New York morning is when the most money is in the market because London's still open. London's open. London's a massive financial market. And the New York money opens at that same time. Ooh, we're getting the good ones here today. What do we got here? Duck Quantran. Looks like I'm getting the early risers in Asia. Did you sell crypto wallets on the CD4K project website? Nope, I did not. But that's a good shill. If you want to buy a crypto wallet that's probably hacked, go to the Seed4Key. Seed 4KI project website. Anyway, like I tell everybody, want to shill it, shill it. Nothing wrong with that. All right, we don't need that going anymore. So as I was saying, by the way, thanks to you guys for subscribing to YouTube. Our YouTube subscriber count's been going down because we got most of our subscribers about 2 years ago. And those counts just slowly close after a while, and it's been going down. So a bunch of new ones help us on that YouTube algorithm. Thanks a lot. Anyway, this squiggly red line over here I got is the light, according to what me and Pedro think that it's likely to do. Obviously, use your own brain power and own money to trade based on your own knowledge. But I am long in a demo trade. Here, and we'll see how it goes. Take profits at 95 and then on 100. I can't believe how dark. I'm not used to doing this, the DYOR live show in the dark. I do the Space Lounge at night. And where I am in Chicago, it's 4:47 local time, 5:47 Eastern time. It's dark. It's dark. And it's cold. It's 10 Fahrenheit, which is minus a lot Celsius. Not a lot, but enough for you Kanukistanis and Europeans. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got any last minute questions here. I'd appreciate it. Oh, here we go. Oh, he's still at it. Where can I buy the AI X2049 token during the presale? Where? Tell us. Where can we buy it? You know what? I'm going to track this. I'm going to write this one down and track this one because you guys have been good shillers. AI X2049 token. Presale. Go ahead. Tell us where we can buy it. And then we'll see what happens to it. And if it does well, I'll talk about it and I'll say, hey, this did well. If it sucks, I'll feature you on my other show, Rugged, Ruined, and Wrecked. If you don't know, the DYOR Media Network has other shows too, not just this DYOR live show. We've got a Netflix-style show that's 3 seasons long. 3 seasons long of shows that what goes wrong in crypto and how to learn from it. And what we do is we review things that have been rugged, wrecked, or ruined, either by getting hacked, by bad management, by people misplacing their keys, by putting bad smart contracts out, or just by getting scammed because it was a rug pull in the first place, or a Ponzi scheme. And we talk about that. We've got 3 seasons of them, probably, let's say 25 shows in total or so. And I keep saying for longer than a year, I've been saying season 4 is coming out, but I haven't had time to do it. I've been writing this app over here. This app over here called TradeWave, in which you can track Pedro, the things we talk about in here, the trades we make. The app is going to be tracking them. API error. Oh, great. Okay, it's not tracking them. No. I get Google. They change things all the time. No, when I said Google, it launched my phone. Also has our videos. Oh, the YouTube API is working well. And then we have a chat feature that not ready to release yet. But the app will be for users to have on their phones. This show we do is a 2-hour show. Not everyone can sit and look at a 2-hour show all the time and then write down everything Pedro and I talk about. So we're going to be putting it in this app, and we have been. We've had our first couple trades doing it. We've got to say, both of which stopped out. No, I'm sorry. We were 3 trades, and one of them went. One of them was profitable, and 2 got stopped out. And then a couple others we pulled off the market, canceled them. because the market was turning against us. But you'll be able to walk around with the TradeWave app. It's just a simple HTML5 app. Essentially, it's a website. No, you don't have to connect your wallet, and we don't ask for any of that. There's not going to be any wallet connecting or anything like that. It's just information. And eventually, when we get the trade thing going, you'll have to pay to have access to it. And we're trying to figure out the best way to do that. Either to hold a DYOR token coin in a wallet, which would require connecting, but not to a DApp. You just conversation not for this, or just sending us crypto. Just like send $5 crypto, you get access to the app. Anyway, that's coming down the road. You'll hear more from that later. But welcome to all the new people watching us here. Patrick Stefanik, this live? It sure is, buddy. Crypto Mike in the house. All right. All of a sudden, the usuals are coming on. Thanks for joining us. We're late today because I had some stuff going on earlier in the day, unscheduled. And so I pushed the show to this afternoon. But unfortunately, Pedro couldn't be here. Sup? Yes, it's nice. But I've spent a lot... When I don't have Pedro on the show, obviously I have to do all the talking. And we know Pedro's a loquacious or vociferous. One or both of those terms. And can talk for a long time, so I get good breaks. And so generally what I do is I spend time talking about how I'm learning, the things Pedro's been talking to me about. Or teaching me. So if you go back, the show is going to end in a few minutes here, unfortunately, unless you have some questions you want to talk about. If you go back to the beginning of the show, most of the show is me talking about learning longer time frame trading. And you've heard us talk about this in that I was no good at figuring out where the market was going in the longer term trends. So I was trading only short-term trades and not making very much money on short-term trades because I would always freak out that the market was going to go against me. I needed to get that emotion out by building up my skill in determining, where a longer-term trade is going to go. And so I talk about that at length. This is probably, if you watch the show, I do that periodically. This was probably the best that I've described it, why, and how I end up with these arrows on the chart. And I put together a little prediction for December, actually. That obviously we'll have to see how it goes. Basically, I predicted a big nothing burger for December. That it was just the month is just gonna peter out as the liquidity dries up before the holiday season. A little different than the past 2 years. But thanks to everybody that's watching. Crypto Mike, how's it going in Manitoba? I'm guessing that you've got plenty of snow by now. And I'm guessing that it's freezing up there now. You know how I know that? Because I'm well south of you in Chicago. And it's freezing here. So if it's freezing here, Winnipeg is going to be impossibly cold. That's my guess, at least. That's my guess. Patrick, how was your trading day today? We've got, in the comment section, you'll see someone, Cubicant, or whatever. He posted earlier, I'm more of an investor than a trader, but I've been trying to play trader more lately. Like me, Cubescent, that's pretty much like me. I forgot to turn my overhead light on. I was wondering why there's a shadow here. Only minus 12. Let's see. Yeah, that's right. It's 10 here. Yeah, they were predicting massive wind chills, and didn't happen. Not as cold as yesterday, no wind. But anyway, Patrick, or Cubescent, if you're still listening, Patrick here does a lot more trading than me or you. But anyway, I thank everyone for coming. Let's see how long it is before I can read another ad. Well, you know what we have to do? In the Rumble Creator Program, they've issued a new criteria to stay in the program. They can now, like YouTube, like Twitch. You can on YouTube, but it's not implemented well, so people don't do it. You can raid on Twitch. There's Twitch raids. You raid another channel when you shut down. And they implemented that. Let me go look at that real quick. So we gotta pick a Rumble. Let's see, stats. I don't want that. Yeah, total unique raids this month. Interesting. Let's see who's And as always, ladies and gentlemen. Oh God, yesterday was minus 26 with the wind chill. Cold. This changes everything. Let's see who's got a live show. All right, everybody. I'm going to hold on. Let's see what we got. Some for the usual viewers out there. We got some good shillers on here today. They're out here promoting the AIX 2049 token. It's pre-sale. But I'm taking the free engagement. In YouTube, we need some help with engagement and all that. Before I finish up, I was talking about, you know what, I already went over it. I'll do it again. This red line that I drew back here, we started out starting at about November 22nd. With the end of the liquidity sweep when the price went down a lot in November, this red line here follows it down. Let's get rid of that line. Follows it down and then does the 786 retracement right here where my mouse is behind me, so you can't see it. Let's fix that. Right where this line is here, if I had the Fibonacci's up, it would be that 786 deviation, and it bounced right off it. This is the daily chart, and those are the closes, not the tip of the wick. I like to do wick to wicks on these things. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, so we're predicting, both Pedro and I are calling it going to 90. There's a level at 95,000 where this line is here, that blue line right above my head up there. And then possibly going right up to $100,000 before it comes back down and hits some lower levels again. I'm not certain on the coming back down to the lower levels yet, or when that'll happen. As I've drawn here, as I've drawn here, how I see the week going, or the month going. This week up to that 100,000 level. Next week down the equivalent amount, and then just going up and then back down and finishing the month somewhere in this area. No big gains, no big massive dumps. You know, I do have it showing to go to 80,000 here, but is this the schedule? No, of course not. Of course not at all. What is going on here? All right, everybody. Let's see. Cubis, it makes my 44 Fahrenheit seem balmy. Yeah. Well, minus 26 Celsius is minus 10 Fahrenheit or so, something like that. No, what's going? Did that just end? I was gonna try this new feature, but didn't work. Thanks for hanging out with me, everybody. I realize I've been on for about 2 hours now. I gotta refresh that here. Finance. The scammer's back on. He's back. I'm looking for something on Rumble that is worthwhile to you guys. All right, everyone. I'm going to send you. I'm trying a new feature on Rumble, so hold on one second. Don't hang up on me here. I'm trying. We have to raid someone else's channel, and so I'm gonna raid the Crypto Radio, who I don't know anything about. And I just want you to stick around and see if why is that not working? Oh, there it is. There it is over there. As always, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media universe. I'm trying this new thing, Crypto Radio. Let's see how this works. All right, well, I don't know how that worked or not, but I did a raid on that. So anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. We'll see you tomorrow.